What's up, guys? Welcome back to Worth the Wait. I'm your host, Cookie Miller, and today we are talking about GLP-1 medications. So think Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, all those things I'm sure you're hearing so much about. Maybe you've even tried these things in the past. I'm going to be talking from my perspective as a coach who has worked with people who have tried these medications, and also kind of just giving my insight as someone who is in the industry and who talks with other coaches who have clients who have tried these medications, to give you a good overview so that you can make the decision that is best for you. So this episode is going to be a little bit different because it's coming from an IG live, which if you're not following me on IG, make sure that you go ahead and do that. I am at Cookie Miller, and you can follow the show at Worth the Wait podcast. So this episode will be a little bit different, but I think you'll get a lot out of it. So make sure you stay tuned. Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, Miss Janie, I haven't seen you in so long. Hey, y'all. How y'all feeling? Okay, y'all are excited. I know that we have been wanting to cover this topic. I have my mic on right here so that you guys can hear me better. Hopefully that's working well. Looks like it is. And then I have my mic here because I'm thinking maybe I might upload this as a podcast on Worth the Wait podcast. So I'm recording on both right now. How many of you have considered, and let's do it like this. If you want to do likes, you can do likes. How many of you have considered using a weight loss medication? You haven't used it yet, but you've considered it. Just send me some likes if you've considered it. Unless you're bold enough to just put it right in the chat and be like, me. Send me some likes if you have considered weight loss medications. That can be Wegovy, it can be Mounjaro. You've considered it. You're considering it right now. Okay, someone's considering it now. Okay, y'all are raising y'all hands, so y'all not being shy. I appreciate that. That's gonna make this a really good and informative live. Somebody has considered Wegovy, considered Mounjaro. I've heard the least problems with it. It's been around for over 25 years. Okay. And then someone is considering right now. Okay, very good. Now, how many of you have tried any of these medications already? I'm really curious to know. Has anyone already tried any of these medications? Someone said, I have decided, but decided not to because I know I can do it on my own. Somebody is raising their hand on Ozempic. We have another person on Ozempic. Okay, very nice. I want to start this out by saying, I know that there are quite a few people who are new to me. There are some people when I posted about possibly doing this live who were like asking me whether or not that was the approach that I use for weight loss. And I just want to make sure that I'm clear. My weight loss journey of losing 100 pounds and keeping it off for the past 10 years was done completely naturally. I did not use any of these medications, but the purpose of this live is to discuss this because had this been around 10 years ago, maybe I would have tried it. I probably would have. I tried everything else. So I probably definitely would have tried it, but I want to make sure that you guys know that. So let's go ahead and talk about what these GLP-1 medications are to begin with. So these medications, obviously we know, a lot of us know that these were originally designed to help with controlling blood sugar and help diabetics, okay? It helps by mimicking or assisting with the way that our body processes insulin, okay? But the way that it helps with weight loss is that it manages our appetite and it also slows digestion. So when it's slowing digestion, imagine that you're eating your food and it's kind of just sitting in your stomach and it's taking a really long time to go down. That is what this medication does. And so in that sense, you kind of always feel full, don't really feel like you need to eat. This aids in helping you reduce your calories and overall reduce weight loss, okay, or encourage weight loss. So that is how the medication works. Let's talk about the effectiveness of the medication. So most people who start on any of these medications are going to lose a significant amount of weight. Studies have shown at least 20% of your weight can be lost when using these types of medications. And again, the medications work by suppressing your appetite slightly and also slowing down your digestion overall. So there are some other benefits like being able to control your diabetes if you are a diabetic, or if you're someone who's insulin resistant, then also being able to control that. It can also have a potential reduction in some different cardiovascular risk factors as well. So these are some of the really great benefits of possibly using these medications. But let's talk about the side effects. Some of the common side effects are things like gastrointestinal discomfort. This can decrease over time in some people, but I have seen people who have used it who had those gastrointestinal issues the whole time. And to be clear, what these things look like are nausea, sometimes vomiting. A lot of people experience sulfur burps. So if you've ever smelt sulfur, imagine kind of burping that up. That is what some people do experience while on these medications. So you need to be aware of that. Now, I want to share with you guys my personal experience as a coach who has worked with people who have been on these medications. And I guess I should have said that from the beginning. I am not the type of coach that is against using any type of aid to help you with weight loss just because I didn't use that aid. I have clients who have done weight loss surgery before and maybe regained their weight and now they're coming back. I have clients who have done weight loss medications like GLP-1s, but I also have clients who have done things like Fenine and regained their weight and now they're coming and needing coaching. So I am not against any of these medications. I think that sometimes these things can be used as a tool. So I want to make sure that you guys know and understand that part of it. So with the people who are in these trials, they are experiencing somewhere between 17.3% of overall weight loss over the course of 68 weeks. Okay, I want you guys to really think about that, because I think sometimes when we're thinking about using weight loss medications, you assume that there's going to be a really drastic amount of weight loss in a period of time that you wouldn't have been able to do it naturally. And that's not always necessarily the case. So do note that. The second thing that is very important to note is that around 50% of the people or more, I have seen some studies that show 68%, are regaining their weight. And they're regaining more weight than what they lost. Why is this happening? This is happening because, again, the Ozempic or whatever it is that you're using is slowing down your digestion. It's changing your appetite. It's changing your hunger cues. You don't feel hungry during the day. You're not eating very much. And then when people stop the medication, they are drastically regaining the weight. Okay, so they're gaining the weight back that they lost and then some. For the people who are keeping the weight off, they're only keeping about 1/3 of the weight that they lost off. That means if you're somebody who lost 50 pounds on a weight loss medication, you may be able to maintain about 33 pounds of that weight loss. Or you may be able to maintain 17 pounds of that weight loss. You will regain 33 pounds back, likely. So something to think about is, could you have lost the 17 pounds on your own, right? That's something to consider. Another thing to think about is the pace of weight loss. When you are losing weight that fast, what is happening? Are you only losing body fat? Probably not, right? So when you're losing weight at that rate, you're losing a combination of body fat and muscle mass. This is why you hear a lot of people talking about Ozempic face, or talking about how people sometimes people tend to look a little bit sick when they lose weight on Ozempic or on any of these medications, because they are also losing that muscle mass. So you have to consider that as well, especially if you're someone who has an aesthetic goal. You want to present a certain way. You want to look a certain way. You have to note that you may be losing that muscle mass, and then it may end up with a look that's kind of like gaunt and sickly. And this is not even just with weight loss medications. This can also happen with people who have weight loss surgery as well, and people who lose weight with a lot of cardio. Because with all of these things, you're doing the same thing. You're putting yourself in a severe caloric restriction, and then you're probably not eating enough protein to be able to maintain any type of muscle mass. Okay, that is the other problem that I will mention. I have seen so many times people who have a goal to build muscle or to put on muscle while they lose fat. They want to do what's known as body recomposition. So you lose body fat while you put on muscle mass, and it gives you an aesthetic look that you may be going for. When people are on weight loss medications or they have had surgery, both of those things are severely restricting their ability to consume enough protein, you guys. It's a huge, huge, huge issue, right? Because if you've had the surgery, for example, if you've had weight loss surgery and your stomach is now smaller size, you can only eat so much. Right? You can only eat so much before you start to get sick. And the problem is, if you have not dealt with the mindset that has gotten you to the point of being obese, if that's what you're dealing with, then you are going to have such a hard time, even whenever you have an assistant, such as this type of surgery. Okay. And the reason is because you still would not be able to eat the amount of food you need to eat. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with who have been clinically malnourished just because they have had these types of surgeries. I did a live, I think a couple years ago, with our team, functional registered dietitian, who helps me to process through lab reviews and things like that for clients. I did a live with her a couple years ago. It's not that far back down on my page about weight loss surgery. And she talked about some of the risks associated with weight loss surgery or with having this type of severe restriction, one of which can include being malnourished. So you can actually become malnourished and not be getting enough of the foods that you need by having these types of medications and by not addressing the lifestyle change that you need to address from the beginning. Does that make sense? Right? Because if you do not change the mindset that you have around food, what will happen is you will use your restriction, whatever it is, to eat all of those things that were causing you to gain weight anyway. So instead of you filling up on proteins, vegetables, right, whole nutritious foods, you start filling up on junk. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? And does anybody else have that experience? Somebody said you're also losing muscle mass, which is why I'm turned off. Manjaro butt has been a conversation. I have not heard about that. Have you guys heard about Manjaro butt? I'm not surprised to hear about it though. Yes, makes total sense. Often too, they have hair loss and dumping syndrome. Yes, absolutely. So there are absolutely some risks associated. And I want to tell you guys about the risk I've seen firsthand with clients. When I have a client come in, again, I'm never against anything that client wants to try within reason. Okay, I'm not going to do nothing crazy. But if the client wants to try something, especially under my supervision and under the supervision of our registered dietitian, and they feel like it may be a good choice for them, then we will definitely go with it. Some of the benefits that I've seen when people have tried any of these medications is that they are able to eliminate what's known as food noise. Have you guys heard about that? So food noise is like when you're constantly thinking about food throughout the day. What am I going to eat at this point? You're always worried about the next meal. So for a lot of people, they say that it has helped them to eliminate that. I have a client who did try Ozempic at one point, and she said that it helped with that. Now, what happened with her and what has happened with quite a few of my clients is that they start these medications because their insurance is covering it, one, or they start the medications because they have a coupon from the manufacturer, two. But then with all of the changes that have been happening with these medications, sometimes the insurance will abruptly stop covering the medication. And this has happened for at least two of my clients in the past 3-ish months or so. So this is where they get to a point where they're no longer going to cover it. They immediately stop covering it. And when I say that appetite comes back, it comes back with a vengeance. It comes back with a vengeance. There's no like smooth transition and then it comes back so heavy. So if you are someone who is going to do it, one of the biggest tips that I can give you, please, if you're considering it, please take this advice. I'm really trying to help you, okay? You need to make it a point to still eat a sufficient amount of calories. If you're not tracking your calories, start tracking them. But if you make the big mistake of getting on this medication and then allowing it to really determine how much you're going to eat throughout the day, so like it's suppressing your appetite and you're like, oh, I'm not hungry, and it's 10 a.m. Oh, I'm still not hungry, it's 1. Oh, I think I can go until 4. If you do something like that, you're going to make it even harder when you come off the medication. 1, 2, you're going to cause yourself to be malnourished, and 3, you might end up with Mounjaro butt, like somebody mentioned before, because of the muscle mass that is lost. In my personal experience with clients, I have not seen anyone who use this medication who was able to keep the weight off long term. I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. It's not to say that it doesn't exist or it's not possible, but I have not seen it. And everyone who has come to me after they've been off of those medications have said that they quit either because of the gastrointestinal issues were too much. They were throwing up all the time. They had the sulfur burps and all these different things, and they couldn't take it. I had one girl tell me that she stopped it because it was disrupting her quality of life. And I have another client who had a very serious experience with it, where she started to have cardiovascular issues. When she went to the doctor and she finally got off of it, all of the side effects stopped as soon as she stopped the medication. So she knows for sure that it was coming from Ozempic. This particular person was on Ozempic. So you have to be aware of some of those side effects and how those things may impact you long term, okay? Also, guys, look at the regain weight. Look at the regain rate, right? You could lose this amount of weight on your own. If you're losing 50 pounds on the medication, but you're only able to keep off 17 pounds, you could have just lost 17 pounds on your own. You know what I mean? So consider that as well. I'm going to go through and answer some of the questions that I see that have popped up. And if you have a question, please do ask it, because I have had so many clients over the years who have been on many different weight loss medications. I had a client a few months ago who went on Phentermine. I didn't even know that Phentermine was still legal. Do y'all even know about Phentermine? I thought Phentermine had been outlawed so long ago, but apparently it's not. So I have a client who went to see her doctor, and she decided to start Phentermine. Again, if my clients decide to do something, I'm going to, support them as best as I can, especially if a client is making a decision with their doctor. It's not in my realm to overstep their doctor. So she got on Phentermine. Unfortunately, it had awful side effects for her. Really bad side effects for her. Really scary side effects for her. We were thinking maybe there was like a blood clot or something crazy happening. It even disrupted her period to the point that her period changed. But as soon as she got off of it, all of those things went away. So just be very careful when you're considering these things. And also know that no matter what you choose, y'all, I don't know how to make this more clear. You have to make the lifestyle change. I know you want to grab the shiny thing and try this and try that, but until you make that lifestyle change, you're not going to get to 10 years of keeping the weight off. This is not a conversation about whether or not these medications help you lose weight. We know that. We know that these medications help you lose weight. This is a conversation about whether or not using these medications can help you long term with weight loss. From what I have seen so far, okay? That I hate to hurt y'all's feelings, okay? But I just have not seen it yet. Same thing goes with the weight loss surgery. I have not seen it yet. I do think there's a caveat. If you're someone who is morbidly obese and you're looking to lose over 100 pounds, like where I started from, I can definitely see how it may help you to kind of jumpstart that, because you have a long way to go. But if we're talking about 50 pounds, 30 pounds, right? Like, no, that's ridiculous. You can do this 100% on your own unless you have an actual issue with insulin resistance, okay? So I'm going to read through the comments. So mindset is key. I'm always thinking about food, like what I'm going to eat. Yeah, so this comment may have been earlier when we were talking about food noise. So yes, food noise is something that it can help with. But remember that a lot of the benefits that are associated with the medications tend to only last while you are on the medication. So if you're going to get on it, you maybe need to plan to be on it. Some of these can cost out of pocket $1,000 a month. So if that's within your budget, then sure, continue to do it for a lifetime. But if you do have a plan to get on it and then eventually get off, then you need to consider that you may not be able to maintain all the weight that you lose in that time. Okay. I've been waiting for the insurance to approve it. I called my doc 4 times now. I'm taking it as a sign not to do it, going to focus on body recomposition instead. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. And again, I don't want to discourage anyone from trying something that they feel may be an aid to them, but I just want to be as honest as possible. The other thing, guys, I am within a mentorship that's with my functional registered dietitian and a functional nutrition coach. And then within that mentorship, there are other dietitians or healthcare professionals in general. Okay. It's an incredible mentorship to be in my position, just because I get to see so much insight. I get to see weekly for a couple hours every single week. We have a meeting where we sit down and assess lab work, and different people talk about what their clients are struggling with. So even within that group, I have yet to see anyone say that they have seen long-term success when they've helped a client who has been on these types of medications. Most of the time, these people are gaining the weight back, because when that appetite comes back, it's just ravenous. They haven't had it in stock since May or June for some pharmacies. Oh, wow. People go buy it in other countries. Okay. Still on the, Fentermine. Yeah, Fentermine is still on the market. That was so shocking for me. I was like, wow, that experience, I will say, I wouldn't advise anyone to get on Fentermine. I've been very clear with the Ozempic versus Wegovy and all those things. Sure, if you want to try it, go ahead and try it, okay? But when it comes to Fentermine, I will flat out say, please, it is a safety issue. That was an incredibly scary experience with that client. I had her go to the emergency room. I was like, I don't like this, So Fentermine, I would not try, even if you can get your hands on it. Y'all, you have to stop trying to get this fast result. That's where we're losing it. You're trying to get the fast result, and the fast result most of the time is just not going to be something that you can sustain, So you have to think about that. Fentermine is still on the market. It's not the same as the Fen, I believe. Oh, okay. That was causing a ton of problems many years ago. So they may have changed the formulation, is what I'm understanding. The drug is one and the same. Fen is in fact Fentermine. They try to disguise it. Oh, okay, wait. Y'all are going in on the comments. I love this conversation. I am loving it. I went to the ER behind that Fentermine. Yeah, so Fentermine is one I would just flat out say no. Please be safe, be careful. New formulation, whatever. I have seen firsthand how serious things can get with Fentermine. It's not worth it. Again, if you want to try any of the other medications for weight loss, maybe it might work for you. I just have not seen it long term. And you have to remember that lifestyle change has to happen first. If you don't have a good relationship with food, you're not improving your relationship with food by suppressing your appetite. You get what I'm saying? Because once your appetite comes back, you still have that same deeply rooted issue with food that you never addressed. Even worse, if you go through the trouble of getting these surgeries, or you go through the trouble of getting on these medications and going through the side effects that come with it, and then you haven't taken the time to actually address the root problem, those things are not going to help you long term either, right? Do we know that? Y'all have to know that, because I know there's got to be some people in here who have tried something like that. Either you've tried a weight loss medication, or you have tried surgery and you've regained your weight. I can't tell y'all how many people that I've worked with over the years who are in that exact situation. So stop trying to find the thing, okay? Stop trying to find the thing. The thing is right in front of you. It's you. It's you. It's your reflection. It's the mindset shifts that you have to make in all those things. It's shown semaglutide is a little safer. Yeah. And I have had one client have cardiovascular issues on Ozempic particularly. She was another one who we thought maybe she had a blood clot, because she was having like the sensations in her legs and all this kind of stuff. She stopped the Ozempic, and I think it was within about a week or so, because maybe that dosage had to wear off. She started to feel better. So you just have to be aware that maybe for you, it may not be a good fit. You also have to consider what other conditions you may have and things like that. So make sure that you talk to your doctor about those things. So what other questions do we have about weight loss medications or weight loss surgery, since we've kind of brought that up as well? Do we have any other questions about those things? Because I want to make sure that we address all of that. While I wait for you guys to ask questions so we can go on and discuss this further, I'm going to let y'all know what I have coming up. You guys know, because like my coach, my business coach, Christy, says, I have been marketing within an inch of my life. So I know I've been blowing y'all up about the class, the Weight Loss for Women Over 30 class. That class is still on sale. I do still have a few seats left. You can still go to the link in my bio. It's still cookiemiller.com/Black Friday, even though the Black Friday deal has ended. So make sure that you get signed up if you're interested in talking about things like this in depth and really getting an opportunity to ask the questions that you have and really dive deeper into weight loss. This is a good class for you if you're planning on having a weight loss goal for 2024. The class is on December 18th, so it'll be before the new year, so you can kind of get started, okay? The class will also have a recording. So if you can't make it, just know that the recording option will be available as well. And then the next thing is that I will be opening up spots for 2024. If you are looking to coach with me one-on-one, you want to go ahead and skip the class, you're like, girl, I already know everything, I need to work with you. If that is the case, then cookiemiller.com to apply, or send me a DM and we can talk a little bit to make sure that we're going to be a good fit, and then we'll get on a consultation call. If you're someone who's not waiting until 2024, I have one spot opening on December 11th and I have 2 spots opening on December 18th. These are clients who are going to be graduating, who you guys are going to be very excited because they're going to be client spotlights, meaning I'm going to be posting their before and after pictures and telling you a little bit about their journey on my feed. So if you don't have notifications turned on for my posts, make sure that you turn them on, because we will have at least 2 client spotlights in December that will be posted, as well as a podcast episode with one of my clients who, I don't even remember where she's at with her weight loss. I think she's lost like 40 pounds or something like that, which is within about 5 to 10 pounds of her goal. So we will be discussing her journey and everything. We've already recorded it, and that podcast is going to come out in December. So I don't see any other questions that have come up. So I think that we're going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you guys so much for coming to the live. If you have any further questions, please do send me a DM and we can talk about this more. Bye, y'all. Have a good day. So that's it. What did you guys think? Did this change your opinion on any of these weight loss medications? Did it encourage you? Did it discourage you? Let me know. I would love to hear your comments. Make sure that you leave this episode a 5-star review. If this episode or any of our episodes have helped you, you leaving that type of commentary back really helps the podcast to grow, which is one of our goals for 2024. So thank you again for listening or watching this week's episode of Worth the Wait, and I will talk to you guys next time.